No, we can do this.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
We can.
All right. Hi Sabrina, my name is Catherine. I'm here from a film product service. I just want to thank you for your time today, and I want to get to know you and your company a little bit, as well as tell you about me and my product and service that I'm willing to offer you. The first question I want to ask you is, I see that your store is now top 5 in the company. What has been the biggest driver of your success?
I would say the biggest driver of our success falls along the lines of the people that we hire. I think it falls down to our associates and how personable that they are. We do extensive background checks based upon their
It's okay.
their prior work experiences regarding customer service, and all of our associates and all of our employees regardless have to have an upstanding type of set of people skills. So I think that really just makes that bond between the customer and them more beneficial, and it makes the customers feel a lot better about themselves.
Right, so it goes further than just what you see on paper. It's
exactly.
Really what they bring to the table overall.
Exactly.
Okay, that's awesome. I also see that your store has been moved from tier E to C in the last year. What tier do you see the store reaching by next year?
Hopefully by next year, I think that we'll hopefully be at the tier B level. And tiers in general broken down in our stores, it's just kind of based upon what kind of product that you get. So the farther you move up in the tiers, the more product that you actually see. And a lot of our stores, they don't carry a vast amount of what we have online on our web page base. And so we do have a lot of customers coming in looking for certain items that we just don't have in store, and we never have them in store because they're allocated to the stores that have the top driving sales. So hopefully, based upon our past, performance, at our honestly exponential rate of growth, I really think that we would be at a tier B store next year.
Okay, so do you see the customers that come in now, they are able to find some more of the product that they were previously searching for just online?
Definitely. We are starting to get, just as specifics, we get a lot more shoes now than we had before, because in previous years, we've just got maybe a couple pairs of shoes for every season, and once they're gone, they're gone. Okay. Now we're starting to get to a point where it's they restock them, and we get a vast variety, especially in heel length, because not everyone wants the big, tall heels, but that's the one that we send to all of the stores.
Right.
Okay.
So. Cool. All right. How large is your client base?
I would say, per each of our associates, I would say that there's a good 10 to 15 people that follow them explicitly. Now, granted, based upon our store, we probably have around 5 to 6 people working there, and I would say each of them has their own kind of 10 or 15 clients that they know and that they respect. That does not count random foot traffic that just comes into the shopping mall centers that's right in Hamburg Pavilion. I would say traffic-wise, we hit around 80 to 100 people a day, and our conversion rates are around 50%. So.
Okay, so as far as your total customer book for your store, what do you think that number is looking like?
For our store, I would say that has to be around probably,
just give it a fair shot.
2,000 to 3,000 people.
Okay, all right. And then what roles do your employees play in the success of your store each day?
Our employees are honestly the bread and butter of the store. I really think that without the associates that we do have, we would not nearly sell as much as we do. And honestly, it falls along, because clothes sell themselves, but if someone tries on clothes and they're not confident in them, then they're not going to buy them.
Right.
So it falls down to our workers and our associates to essentially describe how the clothes are supposed to fit, where they're supposed to be tight, where they're supposed to be loose, kind of make them feel more confident in what they're wearing and what they know about what they're wearing. And I think with that, honestly, our staff is so important and vital to the success of just brick and mortar stores in general, because there's just nothing like face-to-face communication.
Right, exactly. So do you teach your employees how to cater to each client as far as body type and things like that? Is that something that you emphasize? Because I know you said previously you do take the time to select certain people for certain reasons.
We do. With our staff that we have, we do go over specifically, all of us are different body types to begin with. So our staff kind of works together, and we dress each other in fact. So just every time that we get a new floor set or a whole bunch of new product in, we have to try it on, see how it fits. it's kind of just like a big old feel-good session.
Right.
Just kind of make each other feel confident,
Yeah.
and then that enables them to make, other women who come in the store to shop feel a lot more confident.
Okay. What do you think your store needs as far as skills and equipment to continue to succeed?
I think our store needs more of just a personal online-based kind of touch. We do have a program called Style Connect, yet it hasn't really jumped off the ground in our store yet. And granted, it hasn't really needed to at the moment because our numbers are doing so well and we've been growing so well. But I think as the tables are turning in like future years to come, I truly think that getting someone in there that has more of like a knowledge of just the online community and what they want and what they want to see and how they want to see it would be beneficial.
So kind of like evolving with the world around you as, you know, sales and different types of approaches continue to take place. What is your background in customer service and business?
For me, the job that I'm in right now is kind of the first of the kind that I've ever worked. Like, I've never worked retail before.
Okay.
I've worked customer service essentially all my life. I've worked with a lot of different dog kennels, working up front, dealing with owners, and honestly, that teaches you a lot of personal skills. I used to constantly have to, like, obviously handle disputes within, like, pet caretaking or whatever. It just happens that way.
Right.
And some other customer service backgrounds that I have is I used to work for a commercial trail riding business where I would take people out for 8 hours at a time, and you would really get to know people that way, and honestly, it just kind of gives you a broader perspective on like how different types of people work, and I think that honestly has given me a boost in jumping into the retail career simply because I think that I understand people a little bit more, and within the business world,
it's important.
Yeah.
For sure. Would you feel comfortable taking on a higher position in this company?
I think I would, depending on obviously how much, like, if my time is worth their time, you know.
Right.
If they want to work with me on a lot of things, I think that would be honestly beneficial for the company to promote and like give me a better position. But I would say like the highest role that I would probably be comfortable in taking would just be like a manager position just of a store, because I don't think I would want to go higher up in the ladder to honestly take myself out of the retail store, because I think that like working with the people is what I like the most.
And what you're good at, clearly so. What brought you into this retail position?
I would say what brought me into this retail position was actually my boss, the one who hired me, Amanda. I've known her since I came to Kentucky, and she's always made me feel comfortable and confident because she was my hairdresser. And I just had followed her forever, and her family became my family. And at the time where I hit earlier this year, where I was like, you know what, I really want to do a change of pace on my career paths, I talked to her, and she got me a great job, and she's taught me everything that she knows. And I think that, honestly, I needed this job.
Yeah, for sure. And she was able to see those qualities in you as well, and she needed you too, it sounds like. What difficulties have you faced in getting to the position you are in today, and what difficulties has the store faced since you've been there?
I'd say difficulties getting to the position is probably weeding out the people who weren't meant for it. We've had a lot of people who have had my position prior to me that either just weren't ready or weren't apt to handle the type of management that it takes, didn't want to put in the effort, just wanted the pay raise, just wanted the pay raise, but not actually put in the extra footwork, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. As far as the store, what about the difficulties with the store that you've seen that has been faced?
I'd say difficulties with the store is it probably lies within very like high level upper management, and it's people that don't actually have to physically come and see us that we always kind of butt heads with, and it tends to kind of revolve around just like simple things like getting work orders done or getting like inventory in the store, especially getting like new stuff or restock of the stuff that we have that customers obviously want because they bought it. So
which is frustrating because you have a lot of other things to be focusing on as you're now moving up in the company. You mentioned gaining access to new product. How difficult is that for you and your store as far as the company goes?
Honestly, it's more difficult than I expected when I first started. It tends to fall along the lines of who you know
Mm-hmm.
at this point. Because our general manager can only get so far, our district manager can only get so far, our regional manager can only get so far.
Right.
The stuff that we have in the store is generally allocated by the big box business of White House Black Market, aka of Chico's.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, it's kind of hard to like tell them that, oh, we're like this small brick and mortar store in Lexington, Kentucky. And we need dresses for Keeneland.
Right.
It's like there's obviously so many stores out there that it's kind of
hard to
put a notice on, even like right now a tier level B store or C store versus, I mean, and they might even see us still as a tier E store because we haven't been there that long.
Okay, so. That makes sense. You also mentioned a new marketing division in your company. How have you and your employees adapted to this connection?
Are you referencing Style Connect?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say we haven't adapted pretty well. It's a really great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Style Connect being essentially like you can now give those online shoppers a one-on-one experience with you even when you're at home, which is honestly convenient.
It's nice, yeah.
But our numbers on Style Connect have always been low, and they've never, honestly, they've never exceeded maybe $200 a month, which is very low for our store who constantly maxes out like $60,000 every month. So at that point, Style Connect numbers are nowhere near where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it's just because the people that we have in the store just aren't ready to implement them.
Right.
As well as our customer base, the ones that we have that come into our brick and mortar store, they don't want to shop online. The reason that they're at our stores,
right.
They want to shop with us.
I think that online shopping isn't the same connection, and like finding that or building that connection online can be difficult. So maybe that's part of the problem too. It's hard to feel as though there's a personal style service there for you and you can chat, but how connected do you feel to those stylists and those people in your company?
Exactly, and it's always so hard to gauge people's actual feelings over just written messages.
Right.
Like it would help so desperately as they could like see your facial reactions about like talking about certain items, because honestly it's all about the way that you express yourself, and you can hardly express yourself over the internet in the sense of the Style Connect program that we have.
Right.
Because obviously you have your little photo, like your profile photo that pops up, but it doesn't like express like how excited you are over a pair of jeans or something. So
right, and when you come to work and you look and you feel professional, people are going to want to take that style advice from you, but it's very hard to see that over an internet chat.
Exactly.
So, okay. How can you and your employees use Style Connect to your advantage, do you think?
I think we really need to reach out farther to the people who obviously verbally say that they shop online.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard in the hustle and bustle of just working retail to even like pick up on the small words that they might even just hint at it. Because once they say something about it, you can easily jump in there and be like, hey, listen, I know you shop online. Why don't you shop with me online still now that you're shopping with me in the store?
Right. Because your store does get that towards, if they shop online with your store, do you get that as far as like it goes towards your daily budget if they do purchase?
Right, like it goes to our sales, like our personal brick and mortar sales.
Right.
So like instead of it just going online to, at least in our system, it's like the account house. Online just to White House Black Market in general. It goes specifically to our store to make sure that it kind of tells corporate that, you know, this store is reaching out farther to its customers more than, I mean, let's say other stores. So,
okay, if your store doesn't maximize the use of Style Connect, how do you think your company will react overall, and do you think it will hurt your store?
I think it honestly will hurt our store because in comparison to other stores, if they're doing well in Style Connect and we're not, brick and mortar stores have always just kind of been on the outs regardless, simply because everyone wants to shop online now.
Right.
Honestly, a lot of the White House Black Market client base really isn't a huge fan of shopping online because they've always craved that personal experience. But if we aren't apt to going with the changes, I think our store could be one of the ones that gets kind of on the outs.
Right, like
even demoted back down to tier E if we don't.
Because as far as like not needing it to drive sales now, because you are a successful store in the future,
there's a good chance.
There's a good chance.
Because client bases are going to change as people grow up.
Oh, I mean, yeah. And clothing, just as clothing changes all the time, so does business and everything else in the way the world works and the business world works.
Exactly.
How do you feel about your company's merchandise selection for your store?
I would say it's pretty up to par. There is a lot that I think that we are missing. White House Black Market used to just be white and black clothes. Granted, everyone loves color, but I think that we are straying away from our roots a little bit because people do come in here, it's like, I need a suit. Sometimes we don't have all the pieces because they're so focused on pushing more like of the color, sequins, all that kind of things. Like, sometimes it kind of gets away from professional, in my opinion.
From the foundation?
Yeah, from the foundation of what it used to be. But honestly, the merchandise has proven to be really well because obviously our store is doing really well. I think that as we've changed, our customers have changed, there's just always going to be the few stragglers who are just wanting the roots.
Right, so you think they've done a good job at adapting as far as the fashion world goes and the needs of your customers, but with still trying to keep the foundation, you'd like to see that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd say so.
If you could have it your way, what would it look like?
If I could have it my way, I really...
Good question.
Right? Yeah. If I could have it my way, I really think that there should just be a seamless integration of just corporate and the actual brick and mortar stores. I think that there is such a disconnect between, especially right now, because they've changed their distributor a few times in the past year. They've changed CEOs. They've changed a lot regarding marketing. So now it's like we're all in different sections, and sometimes it feels like we're not all on the same page.
Right.
So if I could have it my way, all of the higher ups would just sit down in one room and just figure everything out and go over everything that the stores are telling them that are like issues, and whether that's based upon like a survey that they send out every month and being like, what could we improve, or what do you want to see in your store that you haven't, or what do your customers want to see in your store. I think that there needs to be more of a connect between what the customers want versus what they get.
Right, and that's hard sometimes, like you said, just seeing the product on a picture on a model online versus seeing something actually in person or via video or picture.
Exactly.
Or somebody explaining and talking about a product is very different. And that goes for business too, for you and your connection with your managers and things that can be extended to that too. It's hard to connect just on a phone call.
Exactly. Like, more management meetings would probably be one of the more beneficial things for at least our store. I think that sometimes there's a huge disconnect because, like, even my higher ups, they'll want to cancel management meetings last minute. But
we need those.
Sometimes we do need them.
Yeah.
We have to talk about our numbers and why they went wrong, or why we did great in some areas and why we didn't in others.
Right.
And it's just good to know because it's good to provide feedback to your peers about kind of what your customers are saying.
Exactly. If you could have, I already asked that one, so sorry. Can you describe to me what you truly want for this store to achieve in the future?
I really want the store to achieve just kind of an integration between personal stylists and style connects, but honestly being able to reach those shoppers online in a way that we haven't before, whether it's like through a different avenue than Style Connect, if we constantly update our social media, just kind of to give them another outlook on the product that they're seeing online. Because if they truly are an online based shopper, then they probably get on Facebook, they probably do all those kinds of things, and if they want to investigate a product further, it would be awesome to actually have a resource to go and look at that product and see someone actually talking about it.
Right, exactly, because you can read reviews or say this runs small or this runs large, but as far as your store, I'm sure you still get a lot of online returns, do you?
Always.
And I bet that's frustrating towards your daily goals and things because that knocks you down as a store and kind of keeps you off track, and I think that could be beneficial too in that sense. How do you feel about the situation if you were able to get the store to the tier you wanted in the company?
I think that if we were able to achieve at least a tier B store by next year, I think that our customer base would be a lot happier, simply because we would get a lot more of those items that they want, and we would have a lot more room to grow, I feel like. because tier C, in my opinion, isn't much greater than tier D than what we were.
Okay.
But tier B is like a huge jump because there's a lot of like really fun designer items that tiers A and B stores get, but like we don't. And I know a lot of my customers really want that kind of thing.
Right.
But they also don't want to order it online because they don't want to spend that price tag and then have it come in and then it not fit and then.
And that causes trouble for you too.
Exactly, it's trouble for us, and if they have a certain event that they're trying to plan for, it's so hard to actually order something online and get it in time.
Right.
And not have to return it or get it altered or any of that.
Okay. Okay. Do you think consulting with other stores on their success and moving up in the company would help you figure out what steps to take next? I know you did touch on that a little bit, but what do you think about talking more with other stores?
I think talking more with other stores would honestly be extremely beneficial. The only stores that we talk to really at the moment, at least for me, is the other store that's across Lexington.
Oh.
So it doesn't really give us a wide variety of business. I mean, I talk to some stores like kind of across the east if they want something, but that's about it.
Right.
Kind of stores will call you if they are looking for a certain product, but they don't want to talk to you about the product.
That's like the extent of
that's the extent of us discussing with other stores at all. I don't know what they're doing.
Okay, so you just know that.
I just know that they exist.
Okay. What could you improve if you had a service that helped you maximize your stylist online presence and your client connection?
What kind? Say that again.
What could you improve as far as your store? Do you think if you had a service that helped you maximize your stylist like online presence and then therefore your client connection?
I think that we could honestly drastically change our store's online presence if we had kind of that different type of outlet for people to look at. I think that our online presence would become huge and our Style Connect would probably get a lot bigger if we had something for people to actually go to look at products or to hear someone talk about them or to discuss how they fit, because there's only so much that we can do when talking online. Because also a lot of the time when people contact me on Style Connect, it's when I'm out of the store, which means that I might be doing other things. I might be in school. I might be, I don't know,
living your life.
Living my life.
You have a life.
Yeah, like outside of work. It's not all.
Yeah.
And when it's outside of work, I don't really want to
No,
work.
Nobody wants to sometimes.
Because I mean, honestly, it's like I don't get paid when I'm off the clock talking to these people. You can make commission off of it, but the commission numbers are pretty low. And generally, when people shop online there's a lot better deals, so they never actually spend that much money to begin with.
Right.
So it's just kind of to give people more of an incentive to shop online and to give them more of an outlet to explore the clothes versus just talking to us, because I mean, we all have limited knowledge base regardless.
Right.
I think that our store would honestly just improve overall, especially numbers wise in comparison to the rest of our company.
So I understand that your store provides like a special style service, so maybe meshing that with your online accessibility to its customers, you could give them the same service online that you do in store.
Exactly.
With that type of branch towards your company.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Ms. Sabrina.
Thank you.